Black Rebel Motorcycle Club. Stop. On XFM. 104.9. I reckon we could run it for a week, just to do a few little things.
Bother though, I mean...
No, but I mean, just like, you know, have a look at the playlist a little bit.
Yeah,
get us some...
Another phrase, polishing a turd. I mean, that's just another one that springs to mind. You know?
Are you allowed to say that, Carl?
What, turd?
Yeah.
I think so, that's alright.
Well, you said it, so you're the producer.
Yeah, that's alright.
Alright?
Yeah.
I'll tell you, I got it together. Capital.
Oh, no, that's a classy station.
I came in the week to just check Carl out if he was here. He wasn't. He was out for about an hour or so. And, I heard in the lift, I don't know what DJ it was on, he just went and, he was talking about that little girl, Summer, who, went missing, but then she was just found reading a book. And I swear, right, I swear, he went, and there's a lovely, lovely picture of her there, just reading a book. So, what a happy ending. It's a shame they don't all end like that.
Oh, God.
And he played a record.
What's his point?
Unbelievable.
I mean, what's that?
I don't know.
It's those people who think that they're being a little bit philosophical, but profound.
And then just everyone goes,
Thanks very much.
Oh, yeah.
I noticed in the story of Summer, the little girl that went missing, I don't know if you read that it mentioned her family. Now, it mentioned the father of the house. I don't know if it's her father or certainly the guy, the parent, the male parent. And it was something like, I think, I don't want to, libel him, but it was something like Paul, 24, and he's a graphic designer, recently changed his name to Dragon. I just wonder what exactly is that? How is he, how family is that, really?
Yeah.
I don't want to...
I'm always a little bit worried about people who change their name to something to really, really cool.
Yeah.
Because, Kevin Smethurst isn't, it's not sexy enough.
Exactly.
So I call myself Clint Iron.
Yeah.
What would you call yourself? Carl Pilkington, nothing wrong with that. It's quite a superhero's name. It's Pilkington.
When I was about 7, I wanted to be called Brett.
Yes. I can see why.
I don't know, I just had a mate who was called Brett and I thought that sounds good, it's different.
Yeah.
But then, I'm quite happy with my name now.
Because Carl, I have to say, where does that come from, Carl? Because it's quite a rare name.
I told you, didn't I? My mum had a dream.
I forget this. What? Your mother had a dream?
She wasn't well, she had pneumonia or something, right?
Dear.
And, she had this dream while she was pregnant. That some doctor, sort of, she was going off to another place, she was going to die or something, and this doctor went, I can sort this out, I know what to do here. And, she remembers on his name badge, it said Carl.
Really?
So when she had me, she said, right.
Call him Carl.
Dr. Carl.
Calling Dr. Pilkington. Calling Dr. Pilkington.
She hoped, I imagine, that you'd grow up to be like him, in every way.
I've done alright for myself, I think.
Sure.
I'm alright.
Yeah.
This was what we were talking about, actually, weren't we? We were talking about the fact that, you're quite proud of the fact that you've got no formal education, really. And yet you've pulled yourself up from the bootstraps.
Yeah, well, I know people who've got results from that and don't do anything.
Sure.
Do you know what I mean?
They're on the streets.
So I've used all my energy as I've got older rather than burning myself out as a kid.
Right, yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Sure.
So I don't know if that's advice.
Should we advise that to young kids out there?
Don't take exams, don't work at school, just, move away from Manchester and get a job on XFM.
They'll employ anyone.
Yeah, you get an hour's lunch break, you're away by 5:45.
You need no qualifications to work for XFM.
Because you don't have to think for yourself, because your boss tells you what to do, you can have some time off to go shopping for hobs and shower units.
He's alright, he's a good boss.
Yeah, I know.
He'll let me have next Saturday off. He knows how tired I am.
How many Saturdays has he had off? He's going away again. He's had 2 holidays. He gets 26 holidays, 6 days a year. 26 days a year. Unbelievable. He was sick because he put on wet trousers.
Yeah.
And now you're going down to Hastings. Are you leaving early? Because you left early last time, didn't you?
No, I wouldn't do that again.
Now, what are you going to Hastings for?
Just having a break. Listen, though, we were talking about depressing news. Right? And with that kid and what have you.
Yeah.
You see that thing in the week, there was 3 bits of depressing news, right? There was one, an old woman who swallowed a fork.
An old woman who swallowed a fork?
Yeah, did you see
She's dead, the dork.
An old woman swallowed a fork, so what did she swallowed a spoon?
Why did she, yeah, everyone knows she swallowed a spoon when she followed a spoon.
What's her name? She, swallowed a cockroach. Right.
Sorry, whoa, is this the old rhyme now?
Is this a rhyme that you've got slightly wrong?
No,
you've changed dog for fork.
This is the truth, is it? This is what you read?
Oh, no, yeah.
Sorry,
Yeah,
Nick.
never confuse the two. This is what you read on a spurious website
So
or
that
some
happened.
mentalist
No, hang on, sorry,
emailed you.
just before you move on from that, there was an old woman who swallowed a cockroach,
Yeah.
and in order to get the cockroach out, she swallowed a fork?
It doesn't rhyme, but it's good.
She tries to get it out.
With a fork?
She went, what I forgot? I'm thinking she's in a kitchen.
Yeah.
That'll do. She grabs that, she tries to get it out, and she lets go of it. And it goes,
swallows a fork?
Yeah,
Yeah.
It was in the paper.
The terrible thing was, it was a gardening fork. it was awful, you know. Or is that stupid? That'd be stupid if it was a gardening fork, wouldn't it?
I tell you what annoys me though with things like that. 'Cause
Me?
in the paper, it was, well, you do, and everyone knows that. Honestly, no. Right? You do me head in. The way people say it must be great working with him. Must be brilliant.
No one
It's not.
says
It's
that.
a nightmare. It
Go
is
on,
a nightmare.
get on with it. Go on
I
with
can't be
Carl.
bothered now. Let's just play something.
Because I'm
Yeah.
interested. I'm interested.
Yeah.
Seriously, I am.
Come
was
back
the
after
story?
this.
No, let me finish the story. Come on.
Long links.
I'll tell you in a bit. 'Cause
I'm getting annoyed. I'm getting so angry.
Alright, the player record of this. Verve, unlucky man. That's for Carl, who is a lucky man. 2 hours every Saturday here. Just a little bit of chat and laughter. Some great records. Alright? What are you going to Hastings for? Just to chill out?
yeah,
What are you going to do?
just chill out.
What specifically is in Hastings that's of interest to you? They having another battle?
Nothing. It's just cheap, isn't it? If you can get a B&B for about 40 quid.
Sure.
The weather's good, so
Well, let's all go.
why not?
Yeah, why not? Do you want Ricky to come down with you?
No.
Right, okay.
Now, you were going to tell us something before we started winding you up.
What were we talking about?
We were talking about the old man who was mistaken for a small child.
It was actually, the 70-year-old who they thought was underage.
Right, so then we got on to, right, so the old woman, I was saying, she ate a cockroach. Right?
She ate a cockroach, yes,
Yeah.
by mistake. How did she eat a cockroach? Why was there a
She was
cockroach?
cleaning up, she was cleaning up, it jumped in her mouth. Right.
So she immediately, the first thing she did was immediately grab a fork and plunge that down her throat.
Yeah.
Well, no,
she-
maybe not immediately. I mean, she tried other methods. She tried plastic spoons, her fingers, maybe washing it out, maybe going, oh, I nearly swallowed a cockroach. Did she try that one? Ugh, how horrible.
Right, so anyway, the fork went down,
Yes.
and it's got this picture in the paper of, like, the x-ray, and you can see the fork, just, like, going across like that.
Yeah. Wow.
That's mad, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, it was, where the fork was in her abdomen, was it? In an
yeah,
X-ray?
yeah.
Are you sure she swallowed it?
Yeah.
You sure she didn't just say that to the doctor? Like, how did it get in there? Have you got a fork inside you?
No, I know what you're getting
Yeah.
at, because I remember years ago, do you know Dr. Steele?
Do I know
on,
Dr. Steele?
Yeah, on, he does...
Is he a
it him?
superhero?
The one on, Richard and Judy.
Right. What's he, a psychiatrist or the
He
resident
just
doctor?
pops in and
Is
he's
that
got
the
a
sort of
problem.
like the suave sort of...
He's not that smart.
I know the one
He's
you mean,
just,
yeah, I know the guy you
just a normal doctor fella.
Sure.
And, yeah, this was like in the 90s, and, Richard and Judy said, we got the doctor in again today. We're looking at things that, have been inside people. And there's this one, right? Fella comes on, with an x-ray.
Yeah.
It's sat on a pint glass.
He
Well,
sat on a pint
Well,
glass.
Yeah.
that's what...
He hadn't had
That's what he
it.
said.
Ah, sat on a pint glass.
I remember that story that was published about the bloke, and this is the excuse he gave to a doctor when he had to go and have something removed. It was a bottle of sort of HB sauce or something up his. What word can we say in case Andrew's
They
listening?
don't need to, people know what you're saying.
Okay.
Right?
Rectum. Is that right?
No, you didn't need to say it, but...
Well, no, he might as well. It's a medical term, isn't it? Doctors
Anyway.
say rectum, don't they?
Anyway.
So the doctor got it out, and the excuse he said he'd been shopping, been to Safeways, he brought his shopping home, and he popped the shopping on the on the front step, and he realised he's locked himself out. So he started to shimmy up the drain pipe, but his trousers and pants fell down while he was climbing, and he slipped and fell on the HB sauce bottle, right? And that was the note thing, right? And the doctor had put at the bottom on his notes, this would be somewhat more believable if Safeway sold their HP sauce with condoms already attached.
wow. Well, I remember it bizarre.
Why did he put a condom on it?
No idea.
To use it again on his chips. So he didn't just buy it to have a quick, you know.
Yeah.
He thought, well, I don't want to waste its resource.
Sure.
I mean, I use it at the arse, then have it on the chips.
Safe sauce, though. Always practice safe sauce. Always have safe sauce.
Well, I've been watching birds more than insects recently.
Oh, okay, you moved on from
in the
insects.
last week, just because I've sort of looked at the ant and the bee and that. And what I've found with pigeons is they've got wings, yet they walk a lot.
I'd love that to be a thesis where he got like a £500,000 grant from a university, and I said, well, Pilkington he's done ants and he's done bees. He's followed ants. Apparently they're not doing anything. Some of them are lazy. We are granting him another £500,000. He's been working on it for a year. Please welcome Karl Pilkington.
Carl, what have you found?
Well, even though pigeons have wings, they walk a lot.
Well, I heard, and you told me this, so I know it's true.
What?
Do you know when I talked about replacing blood with coconut, what was it?
Well, one, it said coconut milk can be used as plasma, but I haven't had that verified because it's off one of those websites where there are spurious facts.
But what do you think of that, Steve? I mean, I've sort of touched on it.
But I've just got to echo what Ricky said. I can't have an opinion unless it's been verified.
But why aren't you just being open-minded enough to go, well...
Well, no,
But
that's
it's not
not being
a question of being
open-minded. Open-minded isn't believing everything you hear. You don't believe everything you read, do you?
A lot of stuff you kind of go, well, that's interesting to...
But what we talked about this, what about Noah's Ark?
What about it?
Well, you know, you said you believed it because it's in book form, but according to that, didn't he get 2 of every species on a big boat? But we know that's impossible, don't we?
Depends where he was. If he was above a zoo, there would have been a lot of different stuff knocking about. That's my only problem. What I'm saying is, where was he floating where he could get an elephant, a giraffe, a cat, a dog, a gerbil? Where were all these things floating about?
Well, exactly.
Right,
That's my
these
only
Old Testament
downfall.
zoos, they were quite...
Yeah,
quite
but
big,
exactly.
really.
But you're right. You're questioning it. How is it possible?
But I've just said, a zoo.
There's no zoo that has got 1% of all animal species.
Well, I don't know where he got them from then.
There's a couple of million species of animal. And how did he round these animals up?
Because they were drowning, so they were looking for any boat.
So they were actively seeking out an ark.
Well, they would have just been looking for anything to get hold of.
Yeah, and where did he keep them all? How did he keep them all separate? How did he...
At that point...
Oh, no, the lions ate the otter.
No, because at that point, it's that thing, innit, of how you all pull together in a bad situation.
Talk shit.
You all chip in, they're all like, oh, God, you know, let's be nice to our neighbours.
Right. So there's spiders talking to flies and...
Well, they would have just gone elsewhere, wouldn't they? They would
What do
have
you
been on another bit of the boat. The spiders don't have to knock about the lions just because they're all in it together. They get their own little area, don't they?
Well, I don't know. How big is this boat?
It's big. It's a big boat. How long... What was the warning he got from God to make it?
I don't know.
It's a couple of weeks.
Yeah. 2 of every species, Carl. How big would this boat have to be?
Yeah, it's big.
You can't just keep saying it's big, because I know in your mind you're imagining this ark. There's a boat with Noah up the front with his wife, 2 giraffes behind him, their necks there, 2 elephants, and it just and it's just like elephant, giraffe, hippo, dog, cat, weasel, couple of frogs, and a spider talking to a fly going, let's get on. But when we're off here, you're dead.
But what would you have done then? Are you saying that you wouldn't get on there because it's too noisy?
It's not a question of what
it didn't
you've
happen.
done.
It didn't happen.
To be honest, I'm not bothered. And they got through it, didn't they? They got through it. They're here now. We're not short of them. If anything, like I said, he didn't do us a favour because he saved too much. You can't move out there for stuff.
Oh, chimpanzee, nothing's raining down again.
That's the jingle for excerpts from Carl's diary. This is all legitimate stuff. Ricky and I have had no input in this. This is the first time we get to read it. Went and did some shopping for stuff as it was my turn. Suzanne moaned a bit because I forgot orange juice and bought some cheap toilet paper. She always buys the expensive toilet paper. I don't know why they make toilet paper with pretty patterns on it.
That made it into the diary.
Up and out at 9 o'clock to go to the Cotswolds. Now, I think this was a gift for your girlfriend, wasn't it, for her birthday?
It was
You
a
went to the
birthday and
Cotswolds,
so I just went for one night.
Got the car and headed off. We found the B&B, but they wouldn't let us in the room because we were early. We went for a walk. There was not much around the B&B, so we had a quick walk around the car park and went back in. Happy birthday. The room was now ready. It's an alright room. 3 biscuits, so I ate them straight away. Like a child.
Like a dog. He runs in, jumps on the bed.
No, get off the bed, not on the furniture. The room overlooked the car park that we'd already been round. You're staring at that window. Remember when we went there?
We'll always have the car park.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
The room had posh coat hangers in the wardrobe with sponge on them.
So I ate the sponge.
Don't think they are needed. We went and booked a table for Sunday dinner. I had beef. It was nice enough, but there was a family of 13 behind us. I don't see the point in going out in large numbers. They annoyed me. One of the family asked for sorbet before his next course. He was only about 11. He thought he was it. I said to Suzanne, I've had enough and needed a kip. Watched Planet Earth on BBC One. They filmed a panda for 4 weeks and all it did was sit in its cave. It did nout. If I was Fiat, I wouldn't name one of my cars after them as it suggests it won't work or go very far. It'd be like bringing out a Ford Sloth. No one would buy it.
Ford Sloth. I would love that ad campaign. Oh, that's amazing. Oh, God.
The new Vauxhall Slug.
We had a look around the local village. There wasn't much to it. We did the usual thing and had a look around the church graveyard to see how old the dead people are.
Suzanne's had a hell of a time so far. She's gone to the Cotswolds, the room wasn't ready, she's seen the car park, and now let's go and play how old the dead people are.
I like the fact that you mentioned we did the usual thing of having a look around the church graveyard. Do you make her do that every time you go away?
I like the fact. I want to know what she did for 2 hours when you slept. She just looked out at the car park, just like, memories.
But that's what you do, though, isn't it? When you go to these places, there's nothing else unless you want fudge, or you walk around the church graveyard and have a look. There's nothing.
Fudge.
We went home. It took 3 hours to drive back. People say they go to the country to see the wildlife. I saw rabbits, pheasants, and a fox on the way home. They were all dead in the road. I was just intrigued to know because Rob from Burton-on-Trent has sent this in, and he wants to know that because he's just started seeing someone, and he wants to know what your advice, Carl, is on how to keep her happy. So, what's your advice really for someone who's perhaps just started a relationship? I mean, you've been with Suzanne for what, 9 years?
Ages. I think you should just do what you want, and then if they like it, then they're the right ones for you. So don't go out your way too much. I mean, I got the posh badge for a birthday. That's once a year. Rest of the time, it's kind of like, I like weird stuff. I like watching weird stuff and all that. Now and again, I won't make her watch it. I'll tape it.
This is amazing advice.
But sometimes
This is amazing advice.
Sometimes you just say, no, come on, the bloke with the 2 heads on, I want to watch it live.
So give and take is what you're saying there.
That's all. It shouldn't be hard. As soon as it's hard, it's not right. So just go about your business. See if she joins in.
Woke up to the Commonwealth Games on the radio. Now, what are you making of the Commonwealth Games? Is that something that interests you? Are you a sports fan?
I'm not really. It just seems to be sort of wasted. If people are running fast, use it. Do you know what I mean? Rather than just trying to beat your own record or someone else's, do something where you do have to run. If you're a good swimmer, be a lifeguard. Don't be messing about going up and down.
I was swimming recently. I do a lot of swimming, and I've never quite mastered my front crawl. Just never quite nailed the breathing because it's quite tricky, isn't it? You've got to breathe at the right moment. And so I'm in the swimming pool in the local gym, And there's a guy bombing up and down, really doing a great forward stroke. So I waited till he came up and sort of went, excuse me, mate. I was just watching you when you were doing your front crawl. I was really impressed. Could you just watch me when I do mine and tell me if I'm going wrong?
Why would you go to a man?
I know, and that was what that was the problem, is only as I was saying it did I realise what it sounded like. I've just been watching you swimming up and down. I was really impressed.
And you're both in Speedos.
Both in Speedos. You know, I'm got the goggles on, prescription goggles, so that I can see when I'm swimming.
But why do you need them? There's nothing in a pool to look at. It's not like you're scuba diving. There's
Well,
nothing.
hold on. Clearly there is something to look at in a pool.
Well, no, I wasn't checking. Well, I was checking him out, but I was checking him out for swimming tips. And he just looked at me when I asked him, "Can you just watch me and offer me any tips?" And he just looked at me like I was just mental.
That is such a strange thing to say. Can you just watch? I don't know how you had the nerve to do that.
Well, it was innocently motivated.
Well, I know it's innocent, but what a strange thing to go up to someone and...
But what civilization are we living in where we can't just ask our fellow man to help us out with our forward crawl?
But we're in a society where we can't. But you know that. It's a strange thing to say.
But sometimes it's nice to just think, no, do you know what? I'm not going to fall into the trap of thinking he's immediately going to think I'm gay, or that I'm chatting him up. I'm just going to ask him to do me a favour. There's nothing wrong with that.
What if he said, yeah, it's just good, yeah. Do you mind coming and help me with my plastering?
But it's not the same. He's in the swimming pool. He's there in the pool. He's swimming up and down. He's, you know, it's not no skin off his nose to just offer a bit of kindly advice. If your car's broken down in the middle of nowhere and someone drives by, you know, it's a generous thing to do. Just stop and maybe look under the bonnet and help them out.
I agree.
But I don't see how that's any different. And he did, and all he asked was that I wake him off.
Okay, it's not his fault. Let me have It's Not His Fault. You've got to save this. This has got to teach me something. It'll be an interesting story.
Right, it's not his vault. This fella...
Yeah. What year? Ages ago?
Olden times?
I'd say in the 70s.
Okay.
Would you? Any evidence for that?
And,
does he wear flares in the story?
Right,
is that your reason?
No, it's a bit like Yuri Geller, this fella, right? Where he's electric.
He's electric.
And, if he walks past the telly would fizz. If he walked past the radio, it all goes like that.
Ooh.
His hair stuck up all the time. And he'd be having a bath and everything would be alright, and then the power would sort of switch on in his body, and the electric in his body made him jump out of the bath. So...
What do you mean, so? What is that so? What does that so mean? You've given us nothing. You've given us nothing.
You'd have to at least give us the scientific explanation.
Yeah.
Electric eels have 400 volts in them.
Oh, is this the running away again?
What was that one called?
Yeah, but but
It's not his vault.
But there's a reason that not his fault. It's not his fault. I thought it was going to be something about keeping it in a safe.
I think we should do these the other way round. I think you should tell us the story and then we'll hear the pun.
It's not his fault. It's not his fault.
Right, let's leave it.
Do the last one. Do the last one. Carl's saying we're never doing this again because we don't appreciate it. Yeah, Carl, you don't know how good this feature is, mate.
Right, last one.
Yeah.
Stocking, Aitken and Waterman.
Go on then, tell me about that one. What's that? What am I going to learn from this?
Right, well, do you know the saying, put a sock in it?
I like it already.
Do you know the saying?
Yeah.
Right, well, do you know where it comes from?
I assume it's shut up, so I'll stuff your mouth with a sock to shut you up.
Years ago.
Yeah. Sorry, am I right?
No, not really. Ages ago.
1970s?
50s,
Okay.
I'd say. Do you know the old,
I'd say.
do you know the old gramophone?
Yeah.
With the big horn on it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Right, well, those stereos didn't have a volume control on them. Right? So they'd be listening
Oh,
to
so you
the
put a
album,
sock in the...
and you
mute.
put something like a sock.
That's a real one, you see. That's taught me something. That's good. That's excellent, Carl. That is the only one that counts, like chewing the fat, if they're true. I'm assuming they are. It works. It's of interest. I haven't got it verified yet, but that is educating Ricky. That's brilliant. I will say the other two were more entertaining. So, you know, I don't...
Do you understand the distinction, though, between that one and Electrical Man?
And, or I've hit my head, I can hear you, Mum.
Yeah. Can you see the difference, though? Or...
not
all
really,
three...
because when I read all three, I took something away from all of them.
What did you take away from the Electrical Man?
I just thought, oh, imagine that. Imagine how annoying that would be.
But
that's not education.
And it's not taking anything away.
Think about it, right? We take our lives for granted all the time, don't you? You get up in the morning, it's like, oh, I'll get up and walk for a shower. Some people can't walk, right?
Yeah.
This guy, he can't even have you know what I mean? It's nice to have a bath, isn't it, when you got time on your hands and you can relax. This guy can't even do that. It might be alright for a bit, but he's not really enjoying it, because at any moment, it could strike.
Yeah.
So, he can't even do that. He can't comb his hair, because it keeps going a mess.
Yeah.
He can't watch his
Nor can you.
No, he can't.
Does he fight crime? What does he do with his powers?
I think he just has to sit around, because he can't work with machinery.
Right.
Because he'll probably blow a fuse.
Yeah, so he just sits around.
Think about it, what can he do? What normal things can he do?
Skateboarding.
Going for long walks.
Yeah.
Put a wetsuit on.
Well, he couldn't do that.
Why?
Ooh, water and electric.
No, wetsuits aren't actually wet. They're dry initially.
Just put a whole wetsuit on and walk round with flippers and
A wetsuit's not like a dinner jacket that's like really wet.
Well, all I'm saying is think. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
And what was the other one again?
The girl deaf for 4 years hits her head.
Yeah. That's just.
What have you learned from that?
What is that?
Well, imagine how happy you'd be. Remember that time when I nearly died when I choked on a Mr. Freeze pop? Right,
No, tell us that one again.
No, I told you, didn't I?
Tell us again.
Yeah, but the people will remember it, and then it's.
They weren't listening. Go on. What happened?
It was ages ago when my mum and dad used to go out shopping on a Friday.
1970s?
Get the food in. get a week's load of food in the cupboard and that, and we'd, you know, they'd come in with all the food, and we'd all be like, oh god, you know, there's no food left on a Thursday really, so we'd all be hungry on the Friday by the time the food got in.
I love that!
And
That
I'd
they
be
would need I imagine him like jackal puppies.
Yeah.
Just like licking your parents' mouth for food as they come through the door.
So they come in from the supermarket, they're emptying the box. Our kid had got some biscuits and what have you.
Frenzy, just a feeding frenzy, like pigeons.
I grabbed the Mr. Freeze pop and knocked it back really quick, but it wasn't frozen, so I knocked it back so it was like a liquid, and it went down the wrong way, right, and I was choking, right, and I nearly died. It must have been about, how long can you go before you die?
A couple of minutes to do it.
I reckon about 1:50. Right, I was really close to dying.
How do you know you were close to dying? Did your life flash before you?
No, but I just was like...
There's loads of instances of him eating pops.
Yeah, exactly.
I just was dead.
40 of those.
Whatever, right?
What do you think you'd see if your life flashed past you? What do you think, which elements would stand out for you, do you think?
What? Start now, go back. What do you remember? What's the first thing you remember?
As a kid.
Yeah, just anything now.
Being in a hall and having our dog licking my face.
That's your earliest memory?
Yeah.
Okay, what's the next one?
Right, next one's probably being at primary school with Lindsay.
Yeah.
Was that your girlfriend?
Well, a little friend who was a girl.
Sure.
And we used to have like tins with letters in, and you'd have to write stuff. But anyway, what were we doing?
I got confused.
Right, so anyway.
I'm intrigued by the dog that was licking your face.
Well, bin that.
We won't win that.
No, it's a great feature. I just think you need to be a little bit more careful about what you consider to be education.
Gone funny.
All
I fell over.
Alright, well,
we'll work on it next week. Play a tune, and what have you got for us? Because we've got a big competition.
We've
Come
got
on.
to do the competition. We've only got 25
Yeah, well, come on
Don't
then,
worry
quick
about
then.
it, Carl.
Do
Play a
something,
tune.
play
We'll
a
come back with
tune.
Rockbusters.
We've also got Educating Ricky, where Carl educates me. The one last week, a girl, right? She was deaf, and she was had an argument with her mum, and she pushed her and she hit her head, and then she can hear again.
Yeah.
Don't know what I learnt from that.
No.
But it might be subliminal. Someone might be going. It might be a metaphor that I will learn from.
Yeah, it's like
You know,
a parable.
Yeah. So look at his face. We
So,
might as well be talking Dutch, mightn't we, Carl? Say something quick. It's radio.
I don't understand what you want from me.
Oh, we're only joking.
Right, so... Educating Ricky, I've worked a bit harder this week. We've got some good stuff.
Okay.
I'll give you the
teaser headlines
the
later.
headlines in a bit.
Yeah. Death in Vegas. Scorpio Rising.
Featuring the voice of, is it Noel Gallagher?
Liam, innit?
Is it Liam?
Sounded a bit like him.
Liam here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Alright, innit?
Excellent, yeah. Right, okay, let's get this show well and truly on the road. We better start, educating Ricky next, Carl? What have you got for me? I can't wait for learning. I need learning. I need education.
We should just
Teach
explain,
me something.
obviously, for those that have just tuned in, Carl, tries to teach Ricky 3 things each week.
Based on the pun title,
And yeah, each
educating
of them,
Rita.
just to tantalise Ricky, is, abbreviated into some kind of headline.
A cryptic clue
tantalising.
involving a pun.
So what have you got for us this week?
They are really cryptic this week.
Okay.
Yeah.
First story, little headline, is, don't worry about him, he can do it.
He can handle it.
Yeah.
Sounds a bit like he can handle it, but it's not. Brilliant.
Second one.
Oh, get a lobe of
I'm
Get a lobe of this.
It's a classic. So you can forget. Get a lobe of this.
Yeah. Coming soon.
And stocking Achy and Waterman. Go on.
Second one.
Yeah.
I'm committed to this treatment.
I'm committed to this treatment.
Yeah.
Alright, tantalising.
Yeah. And the last one, the police are causing a bit of a stare.
The way he looks when he says it. I wish we could see. Can't we get Carl on telly?
There's got to be a way.
We cannot. With all the cable channels, anyone can get on telly these days. Let's
Right,
let's phone up. Let's get you on Choice or something. Just a little, just Carl.
What are you going for?
Oh, he can handle it. I think.
Don't worry about him, he can do it.
He can handle it.
Sorry,
Okay,
yeah.
let's hear this one.
Right, are you familiar with the phrase, burning the candle at both ends?
Yeah.
Do you know how it's come about?
I know a man
Well,
who does.
I assumed that it was to get more light in the room.
How would that work?
Well, they'd put it sideways and light both wicks, so out of one candle they could get
No.
two. No, go on.
No, what it is...
I know what
is,
it means. It means you're doing too much. You're staying up too much.
Right.
You're not getting enough sleep, and you're
Well, years ago,
yeah.
when they didn't have light bulbs and that.
Oh yeah. What year is this? Literally ages ago, specifically.
Yeah, quite a bit back.
Okay.
Didn't have light bulbs and that, so they used to have candles
When
in
did the light bulb come in? Because I can't remember at the moment.
don't know.
Okay, go on.
So, yeah, so they've got a light bulb.
You're not. You wouldn't know. You're a doctor. You're not a historian. Go on.
And people who worked a lot of hours, yeah,
How many? Literally lots.
they get up early in the morning because they have to be up early,
Yeah,
and it's dark outside, so they light the candle,
sure.
and they'd wear it out a bit, and then they'd be getting in late as well,
Yeah.
and like, they'd be like, oh, it's dark, I'll have to light the candle again, and they're burning candle at both ends of the day. So that's where the saying comes from, burning the candle at both ends. So,
Alright.
that's a little lesson.
Yeah.
Lesson one.
Okay. Can I have?
No, you can't have
You
another
can't
one
rush
yet.
into them, Rick. You've got to.
I've got to soak in that.
You've got to soak that one in. Any questions for Carl off the back of that?
What do you think?
So people were. I mean, basically, where this comes from is people were
They're literally burning the candle at both ends of the day.
Sure.